Which AI can really nail professional grade financial modeling? An AI native spreadsheet or Microsoft's Copilot in classic Excel? Let's find out. The FMWC, or the Financial Modeling World Cup, is a renowned organization that hosts the Microsoft Excel World Championship, as well as various Excel esports competitions all across the world. We'll pit both AI tools against the same time sample case and measure speed, accuracy, and user effort. Let's jump into it. For this experiment, we've chosen stage 4 of the 2020 competition called Speeded Up Finance. This is one section of a 2-hour stage that awards 2,000 points in total. This will be 350 points of those 2,000. The difficulty is easy, so we shouldn't have too much issues from either of the tools, but let's see what happens. Okay, so we've purchased the sample case from FMWC, and we've gotten 3 things: the case materials, the questions, which come in PDF format, as well as the answers for those questions, also in PDF format. And here's the case. This case is a combination of several small problems. It was designed to help the participants of FMWC learn or refresh such aspects of financial modeling, such as loans, investments, depreciation, valuation, and others. No financial model is provided for this case. You are advised to create your own calculations from scratch. Seems easy enough. Let's take a look at the questions. It looks like there are 7 total questions in this case. Each come with a question, as well as various multiple choice options. And we've got the answers in this tab here. Let's jump into Quadratic first and see what happens. Okay, so I've got a blank file here. I'll just go ahead and attach the PDF. Find it in my selector here. All right, we've got the PDF attached, and I'll just say extract all of the questions. I'm doing this step first because with my Mac version of desktop Excel, I'm unable to import PDFs directly into the software. And so we'll use Quadratic to do it for us. We're going to extract the questions without the answers or without any calculations yet. And now that we have them here on our sheet, we will go ahead and go to File and Export as Excel. Now I'll go into my Excel file and import. I guess you can't import Excel files here, so I will go to Data, Get Data, Excel Workbook, Browse, and here we go. Okay, so we've got our data. Looks fine. I am going to go ahead and go back to Quadratic, and we'll continue on with our analysis. All right, let's start our sample case. I'll start a new chat here, and we'll just ask Quadratic's AI to answer all of the questions. Simple enough. Quadratic's going to think about the problem at hand first, read the data on the sheet, and then start writing some Python code to answer each question one at a time. Let's give it a second to think. All right, looks like it did them all at the same time. We have question 1 as 107,132. That looks like option D, so I'll bold that. Actually, let's just ask AI to do this for us, since it'll be much quicker. I'll click into the code here, where you can see the analysis in Python for each question. Looks like we have 147 rows of code. And I'll switch over to our basic model, since it's much faster, and say, add a column for the option matching answer to value. Okay, great. DCCBBCC. I'll accept that, close this, and I'll just click on the solutions PDF. It says we have D, C, C for number 3, B, B, C, C. If I remember correctly, that is 100% correct. All right, let's jump over to Excel and see if we can do the same. So we've got our questions here. We will go to the Home tab, click on Copilot, and I'll give it the same prompt. Answer the questions. All right, similarly to Quadratic, it is reading the data on the sheet first. It seems to pull in the correct questions. It's giving me some step-by-step instructions on how to solve the questions, but I don't see any exact formulas. Let's say, please give exact formulas to each question. Okay. It doesn't look like Copilot can actually write to my sheet. It's not providing Python code and running it right in the grid or even formulas. It's simply giving me an iframe here that I can copy and put onto the sheet myself. A couple of extra steps, but let's see if it's correct. It looks like it's only giving us the first 3 questions. Answer all of the questions. Okay, very snappy responses, but there are 7 questions and it's only answering 3. Be a bit more explicit here. For questions where, interesting, okay. Doesn't seem to fully understand the data on the sheet, but it did give us formulas for each of the 7 questions, so let's plug them in and see what happens. All right, number 1, 107, 132. Oh, interesting. This is a multi-line formula that doesn't seem to run properly. I'm getting an alert. Let's try clicking into this cell first. 1 is the answer. Question number 3, 0.5. Question number 4. This is a template. Okay, so it seems that Copilot did not fully get the context of the questions here. I'll just paste in those questions into the chat. Maybe it'll provide some more information for the AI. Character limit exceeded. Okay. Here's question 4. Now, at first glance, it looks like it got question number 1 correct. That was D. Question number 2, they have 1 as the answer, and that's not any of the options. Okay. Not sure why it's providing a table here in the chat, but let's see if this works. Syntax of this name isn't correct. Column 1. It's not really providing instructions either on how to run this. All right, how do I get out of this? Okay, I'm free. Let's try again. Please provide an exact formula to solve question 4. Okay, a 1 formula column to review. Let's try it. 33,000, and the options, it has it as C. Okay, great. So number 5, answer number 5. Okay, run this. Green. That is correct. Number 6. Let me be a little bit more explicit. answer number 6. Okay. And finally, number 7. And then we'll go back and check our work. Okay, also using the Gordon growth model. 39.17. All right, great. So based on the answers you provided, what were the options for each of your answers? This is a very similar prompt that I asked in Quadratic to essentially match its answers that it provided to the option that was provided in the question. Ideally, I would get some sort of, D, C, C answers in this F column here. I doubt that this will work in Copilot and Excel, but it's worth a try. We have to be fair. Okay. It seems to be mixing up multiple different questions. Let's just do this manually. Okay, so from our Quadratic spreadsheet, these were the answers that were provided by Quadratic, and they were all correct. So I'll go over here and paste these in. These are the correct answers. Now let's see what answers Excel with Copilot provided. So we have 107, 132. Not exactly correct, but it is close enough. For question number 2, it provided 1 as the value, and that is not an answer, so we'll just put a question mark there. Question number 3, it has 0.5. Let me label these so we know. All right, 0.5 for number 3, that would be C, another one that is correct. And we have 33,333 for question number 4, that would be C, which is incorrect. We have green for question 5, which is B here, which is correct. 1811663 for question 6. 664, but close enough, I suppose. We rounded up in Quadratic. And finally, 39.19 to round up B. Close. 39.98. Very close, but incorrect. All right, so it looks like Excel missed question 2, question 4, and question 7. So 4 out of 7 for Excel turns it into a date, and 7 out of 7 for Quadratic. All right, now that we've completed the case with both Quadratic and Microsoft Excel with Copilot built in, let's tally up the results. I put together a side-by-side scoreboard based on the 3 main factors that we wanted to analyze these tools on: time to complete the project, the accuracy of the answers, and the number of prompts or manual actions that it took to achieve the result. Here we have Quadratic completing the case in just 21 seconds with Excel over 6 minutes. The accuracy of Quadratic's answers was 100%, and Excel with Copilot just 57%. And the number of prompts it took was just 1 with Quadratic, whereas it took Excel 11 prompts to achieve our result. These numbers are very clear on which tool is the better one to analyze a specific case from the FM World Cup, but I do want to give some notes to exactly what happened in each of these AI's responses and where we can improve on each. With Quadratic, all of the answers were produced with just 1 prompt. However, if you read through the actual response from the AI, you could see that there's some discrepancies between the Python code that it wrote and the text that the AI produced. Now, the thing about spreadsheets is when you're able to produce Python or formulas within the sheet, those are always going to be 100% correct if you're writing them properly. However, the AI may produce some erroneous responses. As you could see for question 5, for example, it mentioned that the answer was red. However, the Python that it produced wrote that it was green. Obviously, we should be going by the Python answer, but I do like how if you go back over to Excel, it was not necessarily saying explicit answers in the chat. It was simply just giving the formula to place into the sheet. It knows and even says here in the chat, AI generated content may be incorrect, and that's going to be true for any AI model. So props to Copilot for not saying any explicit answer in the chat and instead just producing the formula. I also like one thing about Copilot. On some of the answers, it did have this little drop down to show the explanation of the answer that it provided. You are able to accomplish this same thing by clicking into the code chat of the Python that it wrote and asking a question like, explain how you got the answer for question number 1. And Quadratic will go ahead and write some code to give you an explanation, or you can update your prompt here and say, answer in chat. That's a tactic that I'll typically use to make sure, because we know that AI responses are going to be incorrect a lot of the time, asking to not write Python, but instead answer in the chat is going to be very helpful. Now it looks like it's surpassing my recommendation to write the answer in the chat here because of the training that we've done on our AI model. Let's see where it placed this. Oh, it just put it in the console. Okay, great. So it didn't actually write anything to the sheet, but it updated the code to give me an answer on how it got the solution in the console here for the code chat. Now, one obvious blunder that Excel had in this exercise was the context that the AI had of the spreadsheet. So Quadratic was able to understand the structure of how this data was placed. We imported the data via PDF, and this will change since the document was in just text form, as you can see here, and not necessarily some tabular data. There are different ways that the data can be pulled in. And so it may not look the best in either Quadratic or Excel, but Quadratic's AI was able to read the sheet, understand that the questions were over here, and that the options for each question were here, and to write some proper Python code that answered these correctly. Now, in Excel, we were not understanding anything beyond the first 3 questions, so we had to go ahead and paste in 4 through 7 manually, and even then we had some weird answers that didn't work in the first paste into the sheet. So being able to read data from the sheet, as well as being able to actually place that Python code or that formula directly into the spreadsheet for you is a huge advantage that Quadratic has over Excel. It's great to get a formula and be able to copy and paste it in, but if it doesn't work the first time, you have to go back to the chat, submit another prompt, paste that back in, and the overall iterative debugging process is going to be much smoother in Quadratic. Not to mention that Python is going to be able to solve a lot more complex problems than formulas will. As the syntax and formulas, there are some limitations. Python can run much quicker in a spreadsheet, so I'd have to favor Quadratic with that as well. Thank you for tuning in on this example, and I hope that you enjoyed this demonstration. Tune in with us for the next video, and we will continue comparing Quadratic's AI to other AI data analysis tools.